Hello my gorgeous peopleini, my name is Sasha Bonasin and I'm a psychic medium, and these are your weekly horoscope tarot card readings, and they are in between the 8th and the 14th of November 2021. So this weekly horoscope tarot card forecast is in between the 8th and the 14th of November 2021, and it's indeed for all 12 signs of zodiac, and it's time stamped of course, which means that you can very easily just scroll at the bottom of this video and you can find your sign that way, or you can just basically just check in the actual within the description box, and then you can click on your sign that way as well. So I'm going to start with my gorgeous Aries, my beautiful Aries. Do you know what, this week is going to be pretty much so about the fact that, you know, about this realization that you're actually going to have, because it's pretty much so to do with you overcoming a very important obstacle, very important challenge. You know, there is going to be a really important answer to your problem. You know, it's about the solution that you're going to have, but also on another hand, this was like preventing you to move on. It was affecting your way of thinking, it was affecting your way of planning. This is just part of the really big picture. This week you're going to be able to see that things are nicely moving on, but that in itself is just pretty much so going to be connected to a very important negotiation. And that negotiation that I'm talking about, you know, it can be like a pretty much so connected to every single part of your life. It doesn't really matter whether this is something to do with like emotions, or whether this is to do with like you finding yourself like on a certain path and being blocked, you know, trying to achieve something when it comes to work, when it comes to success, trying to develop something. You know, it really depends, but most certainly things are going to start moving on. But just don't forget what is actually going to be really important. It's this communication with somebody. So what you need to remember is that, you know, the more you communicate throughout this week, the more you express your feelings, the more you express your emotions, the more you're pretty much so focusing on yourself, the more you're actually going to achieve. But also on another hand, you know, you are, by the end of the week, you will become aware of the actual part of your life that, you know, slowly came to an end, you know, and it's pretty much so going to be all around the actual abandonment and you know, like cutting certain part of your life out of your life, because karmically it slowly came to an end. And you are just actually going to very much so before the end of the week, you know, you will feel pretty much so about the specific path of your life, specific part of your life, you know, where you are just going to start feeling very unhappy, and you're going to start feeling very uncertain, not about your whole life, but it's this specific situation that it's making you really unhappy. On one hand, it's pretty much so to do with a certain abandonment, because something slowly came to an end. But on another hand, you just must, you know, trust yourself. You need to trust yourself. You need to trust your intuition. But then at the same time, you know, you need to understand that it's very important for you to change your way of thinking, you know. And when I say that you have to change your way of thinking, this in itself is going to regenerate you. This in itself is going to rejuvenate you. It's just about like maybe seeing things from a slightly different angle. You need to remember, and this is looking at the big picture, you know, like things that you see around, things that you connect to, but you haven't got much to do with, you know. You must not let these things to take the better of you. So this is something that it's really important, because this is only the way you're really spiritually, you're going to protect yourself. You must remember this, my gorgeous Aries, because this is very important. This is more important than anything. By the end of this week, you're just going to learn how to look at the things like from a slightly different angle. You will know what you know, you will be aware what you're aware, but at the same time you just need to give credit to yourself, and you need to continue with something very important when it comes to your life. So this is like a part of the little challenging situation that you're going to have, my gorgeous Aries. This is very important indeed. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my my gorgeous Taurus, my beautiful Taurinis, you know, this week is pretty much so about you actually remember that, you know, karmically you're going to need to let something go. Karmically you're going to need to let someone go, because it's just simply going to come to you, or some kind of like a negativity towards someone, or some kind of anger towards someone, and that in itself is going to let you know that you're on a very specific path, and that specific path that you are going to find yourself at this is going to be a sign that, you know, you're still holding on to someone, you're still holding on to something. It's a certain situation that happened. It could happen, maybe it happened like, you know, like a near past, or maybe it happened like a long time ago, but it's just basically as soon as you have the feeling of anger towards someone this week, someone from your past, at the same time it would be absolutely brilliant if you possibly just could from me, I mean, forgive and let go, because I know it's really sorry, extremely easy for me to say to forgive and to let go, because it really depends how complex this situation is. But then on another hand, you know, you're just basically going to carry on with your own personal evolution, because what you're doing right now, you're just holding yourself down. And if you're holding yourself down in this particular way, it's going to take a while until this wonderful energy and vibration comes back in again and give you the opportunity to act in this particular way, because it's not only about you forgiving to that person, but it's about you forgiving to yourself at the same time, but also letting this negative energy go. You're going to find this super beneficial, but at the same time it's just going to be very important when it comes to your personal development, you know, when it comes to your spirituality. So this is the first thing that you're going to need to do. So as soon as someone comes into your mind and you're angry about that person, just that you need to like sorry, you need to learn how to let that person go. On another hand, what else I was going to say, it's just that this is an absolutely remarkable week when it comes to your own personal improvement. It's to do with your own development, but also at the same time, you're going to find, sorry, you're going to find yourself like a quiet, I need to have a little bit of water, because I'm going to just carry on coughing like this, but sorry, Taurinis. You're going to find yourself like pretty much so, it is about your own development, it's about your own improvement, it's about your own promotion. On another hand, it's to do with pretty much so an important message that you're going to become aware of, you know, an important message that you're going to receive, and that it's to do with things that you have been doing, with things that you have been trying to achieve, in particular over the last 22 months, you know, things that got kind of like a stopped, you know, in its track, if I can say like this. Something caused this what you were focusing on to be kind of slowed down, you know, the influence from the outside that had nothing to do with you or nothing to do with what you have done, but then again it's just the way things have unfolded in your life. But the bottom line is that there is a very important information that you are going to have, and it's to do with the actual outcome of the past effort. And this is a very important indeed, because that in itself it's a very good sign that if you want to like kind of like focus on a certain promotion, if you're thinking about the next step in your life, if you're thinking about what the next thing is that you want to do, just remember, no matter anything to do with your personal development, anything to do with the next step, it doesn't matter what is going on, it doesn't matter what is happening, you have to understand that the light is within you. You light your own light, and by doing this you're going to highlight so many things around you that you're going to become aware of by the end of this week. And this is going to be very important indeed. So if you're like kind of like looking to like to kind of prove yourself, to prove your point, to put your foot down, if you're like trying to kind of get a certain promotion and things like that, you know, this is absolutely wonderful week to actually just go for it. Very, very important week when it comes to the personal growth, but also it's all coming from the actual hard work. On another hand, you know, you are most certainly going to become aware of, like, you know, the next path, you know, the next things that are coming to your life when it comes to your future. future, and it's just like you must not let this put you off, because it's pretty much so to do with a certain hard work. By the same time, of course that you can do this, of course that you can achieve this, because this in itself, it's part of your progress. By the same time, it's going to be very beneficial for your financial situation later on. What you are doing right now, it's very important. What you're focusing right now, it's very important. What you're thinking about right now, it's very, very important. And just don't forget, there is, you know, the certain reorganization is going to be absolutely obvious, and this is absolutely nothing unusual in such a significant situation that you're going to have. So by the end of this week, you know, you can also expect like a basically you know, the information, and that information that you're going to have is just like kind of, it's going to be a little bit strange, a little bit weird, because it's nothing to do with you, but then at the same time it's going to mean to you so much, because things are going to become obvious that haven't become obvious, and that it's all going to lead yet again towards your own realization that the results of efforts are nearly due. This is very, very important indeed, to just keep going and keep going and keep going. So by the time the actual last part of this week comes, you know, it's very important to stress this for me to you, that the energy is going to be like really bizarre, a little bit strange, and a little bit unusual, and things are not going to seem like the way they are. And that in the same time, that at the same time is just going to reflect on you like, oh my God, it's going to confuse you a little bit, but you just need to remember to keep going. It's very, very important to keep going indeed. Okay, so the third sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous Gemini, my beautiful Geminini. This is your weekly horoscope tarot card focused, and it's in between the 8th and the 14th of November 2021. So this is going to be quite important week indeed, because what you're going to do is while you're doing something that you really like, while you're doing something that you're really enjoying yourself, while you're refreshing your energy, while you're boosting your energy, while you are regenerating yourself, you know, re-energizing yourself. So which means that you're going to be doing something that you really like, that you really enjoy, something very specific, but it's just basically something that you're really kind of gonna really like and enjoy yourself. This is very important to say, that, you know, at the same time there is an idea that you're going to have. There is a very important idea that you're going to have, but before that happens, you are also kind of you're going to find someone really captive to you, in such a way, when it comes to the idea, when it comes to like inspiration, you're going to look at someone and somebody's going to inspire you like there is no tomorrow. And that in itself, it's all going to be part of this really wonderful picture. It's about the idea that you're going to have. So you see what I mean? First of all, you're going to do something that you really enjoy, and this idea is going to come to you. And then again, it's to do with somebody who is inspiring you as well. There's somebody who is like a really kind of making you feel really good about yourself. At the same time, it's about that particular idea. It's about that confirmation. It's only going to be like a doubled up, you know, when it comes to like, oh yeah, I'm just definitely going to do this, you know. And it's about the idea. So it's all boiling down to the fact that you are going to have an important idea while you're doing something, when you are like enjoying yourself. And this is nothing unusual, because it happens at a time when our vibration is really kind of like very powerful. Our personal vibration is very strong when we are doing something that we like, when we're expressing ourselves. And this is like kind of like a lot gets cleared, you know, within our personal dimension. And then this is how come that, you know, we become reflective of the things that are deep within us, that we should do, that we should kind of go on the next step. We just start feeling it, and most certainly it's very difficult to ignore. Now it's pretty much so about what you are experienced with, what you are experienced about, taking this on the next level. Whether this is going to be something completely brand new, or whether this is going to be something really big, like additional, that you're going to bring in, it's all up to you. It depends where you spiritually are when it comes to your personal journey. But it's pretty much so to do with things that you're experienced about, and also with things that you like doing, you know. And on another hand, you know, you just need to remember that, you know, it's about a very, very wise investment that you're going to to make when it comes to your life. This is all leading towards a very, very important and wise investment. This is going to reflect on every single part of your life that you can possibly imagine. Very, very important indeed. And you know what else I'm going to say, my gorgeous Geminini? That somebody who is very important to you, like a loyal friend, or somebody who's very important to you, it could be like a really like a great, brilliant family member who you always talk to, but somebody quite loyal to you, somebody who means to you so much. That particular person is also going to be playing an important role, almost as if it's going to happen like they confirm something to you without even talking to you, without even telling you things, you know, without even communicating to you. It's all going to make sense, but this is really, really important because it's yet again going to be a really powerful sign that you're actually going to have, my gorgeous Geminini, that you should actually go for it. So it's all about you investing in your life, but at the same time you have to trust yourself, you have to trust your ideas, you know, you have to trust your intuition, you have to trust your inspiration. What you feel like is the most important, most certainly right now, especially when it comes to this particular week indeed. The next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous Cancer, my beautiful Cancerini. I can see that, you know, you're gonna have a little bit of like a, maybe like a, it's not gonna be like bad or anything, but it's just gonna like, you're gonna find yourself feeling like a little bit like a low, maybe just a little bit down to start with when it comes to the beginning of the week. And that in itself is going to be quite important because, you know, it's a bit of a yin-yang moment. That is going to pull you down towards the actual hermit moment. So something is going to become absolutely obvious to you. So the first couple of days this week, you know, you're just going to feel like a little bit sad, maybe a little bit negative, but this is going to be really important time and really important stage because something rather important is going to become so so significant to you, so important to you, you know. It is like the hermit mode that I'm talking about is just like a basically, you know, it's just you're going to become aware of the very specific part of your life that you should pay attention to. And the more you think about it, it's about your own unfoldment, it's about your own development. And the more you think about it, the more refreshing you're going to feel. The more you think about it, the more things are going to make sense that didn't make sense to you, especially things around you that you haven't got anything to do with, but they keep on bringing you down. So this is very important to just remember to stay on your path, you know, no matter what, you know, just stay on your path and you're going to be absolutely fine. So, you know, this couple of days of like a little bit of negativity that you're going to have, this is going to be brilliant for you. So just remember, it's about the hermit moment. It is the powerful time. It is the time when we are just like kind of like we could become aware of things that we are not aware of because we benefit from all these different dimensions. This is what the hermit moment is, because it's not about feeling a little bit low, a little bit down, but at the same time, ooh, you know, you're just going to find yourself being very, very deep. And this is exactly what is spiritual required from you in order to find out something very beneficial about your life. Something is going to be pinpointed to you and suddenly you're just going to feel like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Why haven't I been doing this before? Why didn't I carry on with this before? It's also to do with the carrying on, you know, something to continue with the continuation. An important continuation is going to be absolutely highlighted, you know. And at the same time, I need to tell you, my gorgeous Cancerini, that it's all about this balance that you are going to have at the same time. This is going to be absolutely brilliant because, you know, by the time the end of the week comes, there is going to be an absolutely mind-blowing message that you are going to have. Very, very important message, you know, and this is most certainly to do with you, and it's also going to put a really big smile on your face because you're going to feel like a justice. It's a pretty much so a big, huge, big mama moment when it comes to the actual justice, and this is going to mean to you so much because almost at the same time there is a very, very powerful advice that you are going to get from somebody quite strange and unusual, and somebody maybe like a little bit weird, and that person is going to give you really like kind of mind-blowing advice which is going to surprise you, but it's also on one hand going to open your eyes, and once your eyes are open, nothing is going to close them ever again. You're going to find yourself like really thinking about two specific things, you know. by the end of the week, you know, you're gonna like kind of like be thinking about this or about that path or about that path. You just have to trust your intuition. There is so much going on at the moment, and you know, you just must not let like a people with a very strong and negative vibration to take over and to make you think how they want you to think. You just need to make sure that you stay on your own path, because something confusing will be going on at the same time. So these two paths, just pay attention, because they're going to seem really tiny little paths, you know, but they're going to turn into something much bigger, because otherwise I wouldn't see them here. And that's why they're so important. Okay, this is you just need to remember to have confidence. This is very important, my gorgeous Cancerini, indeed. The next sign that I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Leonis, my gorgeous Leos. You know, it's just all about the actual very important beginning here. And you know, something is going to happen. It's about the first little couple of days this week to see the actual information that you're going to have, and this is going to be brilliant. And this information it's really going to surprise you, because maybe you have been like a little bit negative, maybe you have been a little bit pessimistic, you know, when it comes to that particular part of your life. So something is actually going to surprise you, and that in itself, it's going to be really good, you know, because things are going to start working out quite nicely, rather nicely, because a lot that you have been through, it affected you in many different ways. So this is why this is so important, because it's pretty much so to do with a new beginning. This is all to do with like the yay, you're gonna like, it's not about the idea really as such, but it's more about like, oh yeah, I can finally start moving on with my life. But I can just like kind of like, I just need to remember to give credit to myself, you know, because you are incredible people. You're like, when you set your mind to do something, you just go for it. But also at the same time, you must not let, you know, like the negative energies from the outside to take the better of you yet again, because you know, you're aware of lots of things, but you just need to remember to remain on your own path and to keep the balance and keep going, because it's all about, you know, something new is going to start happening to you, and this is all about the actual new beginning, pretty much. So you know, something fresh is gonna come up here, and this is very important, because you know, it's like a spiritual, it's like a baby, you know, like spiritually, when I see the actual baby, this is like one of the most powerful things that can possibly happen, because in the real world, when people have a baby, people are really happy, you know, and the baby is an amazing thing, and changes absolutely everything. But in the spiritual terms, it means like, my lordy lord, that you're actually going to have the beginning of something that is just like a symbolically, it's like a baby, which means that, you know, something is going to start being really tiny, and you're going to be excited about it, and it's going to last for a long time, and it's most certainly going to change your life, but it's going to have lots of different stages. And now this is just the beginning, and it's going to grow into something really important, and it's going to stay in your life for a long time. So my God, just pay attention to kind of like anything that you feel excited about, and anything when it comes to like what you're doing, what you're working on, or anything that any kind of fresh energy, like any kind of ideas, you know, it's time to pay attention to ideas. It's time to pay attention to your own vibration when you're thinking about the ideas. How do you feel about it? Do you feel really excited? You know, your intuition is telling you to keep, you know, to go for it. This is very important indeed. And also, you know, you are going to have a very meaningful experience, my gorgeous Leonis, and that meaningful experience, it's really going to put you back on your own path. Very important indeed. I'm not saying that you went off, but I'm just saying that the balance, you know, the balance was a little bit not there, because you were worrying quite a lot. So this is why it's important to just like really at this time, you know, to just give as much credit as you possibly can to yourself. This is very important, because something really big is coming up for you, my gorgeous Leonis. So this is why I need you to remember this. By the end of this week, you're going to have a very meaningful experience experience, you will see something, you will be part of something, and that in itself is going to be like, oh my God, oh my Lord, you know, your eyes is going to be, your eyes are going to be open, but then at the same time, you know, you are just going to kind of like be able to do certain things in your life in order to make your life more colorful, in order to make your life more meaningful, in order to make your life like kind of like also to make you realize exactly which parts of your life are causing you a bit of a restraint, but at the same time you're going to realize that you've got the power that you've got the power to actually get on with it. You know, it's all about also making a very important decision, you know, by the end of the week. But this is only the beginning, and it's to do with a certain goal. This is all going to lead towards you having so many confirmations and so many ideas, but by the time you get to the end of the week, it's all about this particular goal that I'm talking about. Very important time, my gorgeous Leonis, because it's not about something that is just going to come out of the blue. No, baby, no. It's pretty much so to do with things that you wanted to do for a long time, but now this is all going to be pretty much so highlighted for you. So this is why this is going to be so important. You're going to find your balance again, and also somebody who is in your life is going to confirm something to you very important that means to you so much. But then two people need to kind of like get together, not get together, but two people need to kind of agree on something or something like that. But it's about making a very important step, you know, and waiting for the right time. And it's pretty much so connected to the fact that you're going to make a really big change later on in your life, and it's just going to reflect on your home environment, whether you're going to want to move somewhere or do something really big. This is going to be very interesting indeed. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be talking about, and it's in between the 8th and the 14th of November 2021, is going to be my gorgeous Virgo. My gorgeous Virgolini is like, ooh la la, you know, you're going to become aware of something really important, you're going to become aware of something really significant within the first 3 days, and you're going to find this quite mind-blowing, like, oh my God, like really mind-blowing. But then again, it's just going to remind you of your own power. It's going to remind you how important it is, like, to just kind of maybe keep certain information to yourself and come out with a certain information. You will see exactly what I mean, and you will know exactly where you should kind of pay attention to that particular balance. But there is something that you're going to find out that maybe you will kind of want to find out a bit more about it. You're going to need a bit longer to understand something very specific, because it's going to be connected to one person or maybe a group of people who are doing something absolutely crazy, absolutely ludicrous, absolutely bizarre, and this is just going to take you back a little bit because you're not going to be able to believe it. But that on one hand, it's really going to kind of open your eyes, and it's going to make you aware of things that you should really be aware of at this moment in your life, at this moment when it comes to your spirituality, at this moment when it comes to your karma, and when it comes to your personal journey as well. No matter how weird things are, no matter how weird and strange and heavy things can be, you must not let that energy to take away your own personal energy. Sometimes this life is really weird, sometimes this life is really bizarre, sometimes this life is really strange, and you need to remember to stay on top of it by being yourself and by not losing yourself. I'm not saying that you've lost yourself, but you almost did lose a tiny little bit of you, purely because, and you're not the only sign that this actually happened, and this is purely because there is so much influence and negative impact from the outside that affected your way of thinking. But because you're so spiritual and you're so deep and you're so powerful when it comes to this, you know, your ability to understand things from a completely different angle is like absolutely crazy, in a good way, in a positive way. And this is why subconsciously you were like kind of, oh my God, maybe affected by things around quite a lot, but you giving your energy away, it's not good, you see. So this is why there need to be like a kind of cut-off point, and I think that cut-off point for you, my gorgeous Virgolini, it's going to actually happen this week by the end of this, by the end end of this week, this is all going to unfold into something completely different, because there is going to be a very important confirmation that you are going to have, and a sign as well that you are most certainly on the right path. So all this is going to be pretty connected. So what you need to understand, that this is going to be really beneficial for you, and it's going to remind you exactly who you are, what your path is, and also it's going to refresh you, you know, like by the time we get to the actual midweek, you know, it is about the actual plan that you will want to carry on with, your important plan, my gorgeous Virgolini. It's just something that you left behind, something that you really wanted to do, something that you really wanted to achieve, you know, something really big but really important to you, and something that, you know, was left in the past, you know, and especially when it comes to the last 24 to 36 months, this was very highlighted. So this is going to become evident by the end of the actual, at around the midweek. It's not a new plan, but it's the continuation of something so important to you. Continuation, no matter what is going on, no matter what is happening, you see, it doesn't really matter. It's all about the time is right. And just remember that, you know, this is pretty much so to do with you also having an absolutely mind-blowing moment by the end of the week when it comes to the actual having a sign that you're on the right path. And the sign that you're going to have also through the power and synchronicity, pay attention to the actual any numbers of 777 repeating, 999 repeating, 888 repeating, and 111 repeating. Any combination of these numbers that you see throughout this week, my gorgeous Virgolini, you just need to be prepared. There is a very important sign going to be there for you very soon after, and that sign is going to happen, like, even if you're waiting for it intensely, when you least expect it. This is where the magic is actually going to happen, and the sign, it's going to be so significant, so meaningful. Some other people wouldn't be able to understand, but you will know exactly that you're on the right path, and that in itself, it's all about the confirmation to carry on with something, You do not let yourself to be blocked with absolutely anything. So this is, sometimes we are having this blockage and we are not even realizing. We don't even kind of understand, oh my God, I've got this blockage, you know, and it becomes evident only when this energy shifts, you know. So this is why this is going to be so important. It's pretty much so to do with like a really big wish, you know, but also at the same time, you know, it's to do with like at the time of your life that you wanted to attempt this. So this is really, really important. So now this is going to bring you hope, and it's going to bring you confidence, and also on another hand, you know, you're going to feel very kind of inspired, you know, to do this, although you are going to feel a really uncertain efforts, you know. But these uncertain efforts would normally like bring so much conflicting influence, you know, so much conflict into your life, you know, because you would just start feeling like a really, I'm not too sure about it, but now you will just really know it's time to go. So therefore, it's all about you carrying on with this, you know. It's something that it was left behind. You need to carry on with this no matter what. And then on another hand, you know, you are going to have a very important moment on the actual 15th of September 2022. So the 15th of September 2022 is going to be a really big moment where you are going to find a very strong and powerful correlation with everything that was happening this week. But it's pretty much so to do with the continuation, an important continuation. You need to wake up your gorgeous eyes, you know, open your gorgeous eyes, and you need to carry on. I'm not saying that you were sleeping. Please don't get angry with me. No, I'm not saying that you were sleeping or anything like that, but you will see sometimes we are influenced and impacted by the things and outside forces that can be a little bit darkish, you know, and we don't even realize there is so much going on. We don't even realize kind of what is happening until this message, this energy shifted. So this is why this is so important, my gorgeous Virgolini. This continuation, you need to continue with something, you know, no matter what. It's so important, and please do remember this. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Libra. My gorgeous Libra, oh Lord, you know, you've got like a bit of like a complex week this week, and it's a rather complex because the first just to start with, week is going to seem like a little bit strange and a little bit dark and a little bit bizarre, a little bit unusual, but at least it's going to happen at the beginning of the week. Do you know what I mean? At least it's going to happen at the beginning of the week. It's not going to happen midweek. It's not going to happen at the end of the week. It doesn't matter, baby. It's a bit of a yin-yang moment that you're going to have. Yes, my gorgeous Libra, I'm sorry, but you are going to have a little bit of tower situation at the beginning of the week. So God, something is going to happen and it's just going to throw you back, certain complete and sudden change, and it's really going to surprise you. And at the same time, you're going to find yourself in an unusual waters because you didn't expect the situation to happen, and this is going to get you worried a little bit. But then at the same time, this is pretty much so to do with something rather unexpected. It's going to take place. Please don't get angry with me, but it's important to say this. As I said, at least it's going to happen at the beginning of the week, an unexpected event, it's going to take place, and it's really going to throw you back, a little bit, and it's like going to affect your own stability. But then at the same time, it's going to help you to see things for what they are. It's going to help you to open your gorgeous eyes, my gorgeous Libra. This is important. This is very important indeed. Some people are going to become obvious for what they are, creatures, but then again, on another hand, this is very important for you to know this, because it's pretty much so going to open your eyes, and it's going to help you to move on with your life. That in itself, that tower situation, it's just going to be pretty much so a couple of days later, there is a very important information that you're going to have, and it's pretty much so to do with your own personal justice. This is going to mean to you so much, but it's also going to pick you up when you need it the most. It's going to put big smile on your face, but it's also going to be connected to a very important advice that you're going to become aware of, that is nothing to do, not nothing to do with you, but it's like not going to be said to you completely like directly, but it's most certainly you're gonna become aware of that. You're gonna be in that dimension, that energy, so you're gonna become aware of it. So this is gonna be really important. So very kind of like interesting advice, so pay attention to that justice, that you're gonna kind of become aware of. But at the same time, at around that time, it's this very important information that you're gonna have, this very wise advice that you're gonna become aware of, but you're not gonna be told that. So maybe you will watch someone, maybe you will hear someone, maybe someone who's very close to you is actually gonna come through forward and tell you something. It's like, oh, okay, then that makes sense. So this is something to pay attention to, because it's most certainly by the time the end of the week happens and comes, this is important, because very, very annoying, absolutely huge problem, it's going to come to an end. So it doesn't really matter what's going to happen at the beginning of the week, how you're going to feel. It's all about you kind of like feeling things and feeling certain people, feeling certain person the way you didn't feel them before. And this may not even be like with your kind of like a personal situation. It could be like to do with your personal situation, but on another hand, it could do with things outside that are affecting you just as much, if you know what I mean, that are affecting your personal situation just as much. So this is a really deep and complex situation, really deep and complex subject. But the bottom line is that, by the time the end of the week comes, there is the resolution of a very, very annoying problem going to come up, and this is very, very important for you, my gorgeous Libra, because it's all about like basically overcoming very annoying obstacle, and it's all about this healing, almost immediate healing that you're gonna feel and have, and it's all about the satisfactory result. But at the same time, it's to do with the conclusion, mind-blowing conclusion you're gonna have by the end of the week. This is going to set you free in so many different ways, but it's also going to prove to you something very important and something very personal and something very significant. It's pretty much so going to lead towards the certain compromise, but also the inspiration when it comes to your life, when you need it the most. So it doesn't really matter at the beginning of the week, this is all going to be beneficial for your own knowledge, to understand and know things, what's happening around you. But at the same time, at the end of the week, it's going to bring you absolutely wonderful resolution of a problem, and you will be able to move on with your life. So this is so important, because the negative energy is going to shift by the end of the week. And then when the week happens, you know, after the 14th of November, you know, a lot is going to be happening in your life, because there is a really wonderful energy that you're going to feel and have, in particular when it comes to the stepping into the unknown. You're going to feel rather adventurous, but also you're going to feel like you want to explore things. So anything that comes to you to explore or to do or to try doing, you should most certainly go for it. But also on another hand, it goes both ways. Anything that comes to you that you should be wary of, pay attention to it. It's coming from somewhere else, you know, pay attention to it. Very important indeed. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous Scorpio. I'm going to have a little bit of water because otherwise my voice is going to go. What am I putting in my water? Scorpioni. Oh Lord, Scorpioni. You see, everybody's having a bit of like a deep week, you know. It's a bit of a complex week that you're going to have, my gorgeous Scorpioni. A bit of a deep week indeed. But at the same time, it's happening at around the time when this is your time. This is when your vibration is really powerful. This is when your mind is really powerful. This is when your psychic vibration is really strong. And also your third psychic eye is going to be really, really kind of like enhanced throughout not only this week, but throughout this particular month. This month of November is, of course, your element, where you're going to find yourself in your own element, but also when you set your mind to do something, you can just so nicely and easily achieve them. But when I say that this week is going to be a little bit complex, it's just basically, you know, something that was driving you absolutely nuts over the last 8 months in particular, something that was like kind of like a really draining your vibration and draining your energy, and it made you feel really kind of negative, and it made you feel like a little bit stuck. But it also made you feel like a very negative when it comes to life, when it comes to looking at the actual life, when it comes to the next step. You know, there is a very kind of significant blockage that you have found yourself, that you have kind of become aware of. And this affected you, of course, because, you know, you just don't like when things get stuck and then you don't feel any progress. So it's just pretty much about the fact that you didn't feel as much progress in your life as much as you would kind of expect to have at this moment in time. But this is going to be absolutely brilliant for you this week, because it's all about, you know, the first couple of 2 or 3 days. It's all about the actual God, you know. You're going to feel maybe a little bit down, a little bit negative, you know. Just like, please don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be all like a dark lalish moment, you know. No, baby, no. But this is very important because it's all about that particular yin-yang moment that I'm talking about. So the first 2 or 3 days this week, you're going to feel like a little bit down, a little bit negative, but then at the end of the day, you know, it's about you realizing that there is you know, there is a certain conflict, you know, that you're going to realize that if you kind of come to an end with a certain problem, or if you kind of want to go on the next step of your life, next stage of your life, there is a certain little conflict that you're going to become aware of. And that little conflict, it's really important for you to kind of put your foot down, to take the leadership role, because it's to do with maybe somebody dominating your life, like in a negative way. So you just need to see who this is, because it's just all on one hand, you know, something is going to be revealed about somebody quite important to you in your life, but then on another hand, you know, this is going to be brilliant because it's going to really remove you from the feeling like your life is really like a difficult, you know, this causes so much difficulties in your life. So it's to do with one specific person when it comes to you, my gorgeous Scorpioni. So you need to be really, really smart how you're going to go about this, because it's pretty much so to do with somebody who is dominating you so much in a really negative way. And you need to be clever about it by not showing to that person that they're making you feel like this, they're making you feel really negative, that they're dominating your life in like a dark, negative way. Your job is to make sure that that person doesn't know how you feel. So this is really, really important indeed. So this is somebody who is carrying like the same karma with you, who have been carrying karma for a long time. But on another hand, it also could be, on another hand, it could be somebody who is just going to kind of like a maybe just appear in your life just out of nowhere, and it's just that person is not going to make sense like whatsoever. So this is something that you need to pay attention to, because believe me or not, there is a very interesting news that you're going to have one day later. So as soon as you become aware of this person, whether this is going to be somebody who is like a karmically connected to you from your past, or whether this is going to be somebody who is like going to appear in your life just out of the blue and show their face, make themselves know in a very negative and dark light, but then again, this is going to be brilliant for you, very brilliant, because it's going to open your eyes, it's going to help you to become aware of things, because almost immediately there is some kind of news that you're gonna get one day later, one day after that. As soon as you have this information, there is a very important news that you're gonna get. On another hand, how to deal with a certain crisis. So by the time you get to the actual mid-week, it's all about you having a resolution to the actual problem that caused you so many crises. So this is really important, because the answer to that problem is you moving on with your life, you doing what you want to do, you're only doing what it makes sense to you. By the same time, it's about your practical knowledge. This week is more important than ever to take your practical knowledge on the next stage. Listen to me, this is so important. Don't forget, my gorgeous Scorpioni, that you have got an additional power, because this is your element, the month of November. So your energy is going to be that much stronger, your vibration is going to be that much more powerful, and you will be able to achieve so much more. So please, 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 something is going to come to you by the end of the week. The actual idea, what do you need to do when it comes to your life, you know, when it comes to things that you love doing, some very kind of very, very wicked idea. It's going to come to you. Wicked idea in the best possible way, in a great way, in an amazing way, because something, that idea is going to start awakening you. At the same time, that idea is going to refresh you so nicely, and that idea is almost immediately going to show you the way. You're going to feel something that you didn't feel in a long time, the vibration, the energy, but also, you know, it's all about this moment of you understanding that you possess a very important power when it comes to your practical knowledge, no matter what you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter where your life is heading to. But this is to do with the knowledge that you already possess, and the ability and the power to take this on the next level. And somebody very kind of like close to you and very important to you, somebody very significant to you in your life, it's going to really kind of tell you something. They're going to reach through, they're going to come forward, and they're going to mention something to you, and you're going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe you're saying this, you know. And then you will know, oh my god, this is my sign, that there is a very important sign that you are going to have, that this is exactly what you should do. And it's going to be by somebody and through somebody who is in your life, who is very much so connected to you, who mean to you so much. And that person, you know, it's vice versa, you know, it's somebody who's very important to you. So this is going to be really interesting as well, my gorgeous Scorpione. But it's all about the your practical knowledge, and also strength, you know, the confidence, having the control over your life. Again, I'm not saying that you didn't have, but you will see exactly what I mean. And on another hand, you know, don't rush into anything. It's very important. Don't rush into anything this week whatsoever. This is the week for thinking. This is the week for planning. This is the week for like a gathering idea. But I do see that somebody's going to try to push you towards something, some kind of like a, I don't like this person or this group of people, but someone is going to try to push you towards something, and you will know that this is not the right thing to do. You will not feel right about it, and that is absolutely the right thing to do. So you need to be kind of like a little bit wary of this, like a devilish person, like who is going to try to push you towards something that it's like a kind of like a very strange path, very unusual path. It is not going to make sense to you, and most certainly you should stay away from it. Certain mask is going to fall yet again, and there are going to be worms behind. But then again, it's just again, it's the sign that you will know what I mean when that happens, but it's just a sign to kind of follow your intuition. Follow your intuition. This is important time indeed. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about, sorry, it's going to be my gorgeous Sagittarius. I'm going to have a little bit of water, so I don't lose my gorgeous voice. Where are you, Saggittarini? Saggittarini, Saggittarini. Okay, it's just amazing how some people hate when I do this. Some people don't like when I do this. Absolutely, some people, I can't stand this, and I can't understand why, but anyway, I get like, oh my god, you were flicking your fingers again. Sagittarini, Sagittarini, Sagittarius, Sagittarius, Sagittarini, pam, 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 pam. My gorgeous Sagittarini, you know what? It's just like, this is important, you know, because it's all about two things. Number one, certain maybe invitation or something, it's not going to make sense. Someone is going to call you, or someone is going to tell you something, and you're going to be like, no baby, no. Or you might be aware that you're like going to be called by someone or something is going to be required from you, and you're going to be like, no baby, no. So something is not going to seem right, and something is not going to feel right. And if you're required to do something, and someone asks you to do something, and you're like, something is just not going to seem right. So you just have to use your intuition, my gorgeous Sagittarini, because you're very powerful. And you're very strong when it comes to your personal intuition. You're very clever, both spiritually, and your spiritual intelligence is very strong, but you're normally very powerful signs when it comes to your intelligence, because you can do things, you can achieve things, you can make things happen really easily and really quickly, and you tend to stay on your own path, and I really like this. But at the same time, you just need to remember to if something doesn't make sense, I know I keep on saying this, but use your third psychic eye. Some people have no idea what the third psychic eye is. You know, it's our pineal gland. It's just as important as every part of our body. If it's not probably one of the most important part of our body, is the third psychic eye, where our pineal gland is. This is what we see with as well. This is so significant, but it's a very deep subject indeed. But also, I'm just saying this, that if something, for one, I said two situations, yeah? So one, if something kind of requires something from you, someone is asking something to do, or some kind of strange information, then just don't, you know. It's just like use your intuition, because something is really not going to be good, and it's going to come from a rather devilish person. There is a very devilish person, like a, oh my god, vile person connected to this, but it's nothing, that person has got nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your life or anything like that. So it's just entirely up to you. So if something doesn't make sense, you say, bye darling, you know. And also, on another hand, maybe just be very, very smart, basically, you know, be very smart. Okay, so it's just by listening your intuition. So on another hand, the second thing is like, oh my lord, you are going to become aware of a very important opportunity, something very significant. It's about to approach you, something that is going to mean to you so much, and something that you have been waiting for a long time. And this is to do with your personal advancement. It's to do with the path that you're on. No matter what you do, no matter where you are, it's to do with your path that you're on. Okay? So it's an opportunity to advance yourself. So make sure to talk as much as you can this week. Make sure to test the water as much as you can. But also make sure to break out of the bubble. For example, the spiritual bubble where we just do things in a certain way. You need to try also kind of like a different things, and you also need to kind of maybe try things that you haven't tried before when it comes to your personal situation. You know, there's so many things that you can bring into your life by testing the water, and by also be very kind of keeping yourself in this explorative mode. You know, it's very important now indeed. The more you do this, the more you're gonna find out about yourself, because there is something very big, enormous, huge, what you're gonna find out about yourself by the end of the week. It's like about confirmation. It's to do with yourself, but also very strong and powerful sign that you are going to have, you know. And that sign is going to appear when you see the number 777 333 888 111 222. If you see any combination of these numbers repeating, you will know that your sign is about to appear, and this is going to be really important indeed. So it's all about you approaching a very important stage of your life when it comes to your own advancement, but also something is going to be requested from you that you're going to find rather challenging. But then at the same time, you know, this is important because it's to do with your skill, it's to do with things that you know, it's to do with things that are also going to that you have a power with, but it's also going to bring you so much power later on. This is most certainly the time to take your life on the next stage, you know, and it's not even going to seem that huge, that big, that significant, that enormous, but you will see by the time you get to the actual April 2022, things are really going to take off. So you are really having a nice opportunity, you know, to really think about what you can bring into your life and place it on your path and take it some take it somewhere really big and really important. What you're doing right now and what you're focusing on when it comes to this particular week, you know, it is just going to make you feel very kind of like, it's going to bring you like a huge accomplishment later on. So, you know, sometimes things are more important than they seem to be. You know, sometimes things are more important, more significant, more powerful than you can possibly imagine, but you just need to give a credit to yourself and see exactly what do you need to bring on your own current path in order to move on with your life towards the right direction. There is a very, very important opportunity that you're actually going to have this week, my gorgeous Sagittarini, indeed. Okay. So the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous Capricorn, my beautiful Capricornius. Now, this is in between the 8th and the 14th of November 2021. So it's all about the actual, my Lord, there is a really crazy moment you're going to have, you know, this week. Someone is going to tell you something, you're going to become aware of this certain information, and on one hand it's about the confirmation, and then on another hand, you know, it's going to prove your point. You will be able to prove your point. You know, you will be able to prove your point, but just remember, before that happens, you know, you are going to have a challenging situation. No matter what happens, you need to put your foot down and you need to take the leadership role. This is very important. If you are aware of something crazy, something mental and something ludicrous, you need to make sure that people in your life are also aware of that as well, because there is a very specific information that you have and you just need to keep going. And there is somebody very specific in your life, very important to you, very, very important to you, that is going to benefit from the certain information, because somebody is being led off the way. Somebody is being misled from their own path, and I don't like this whatsoever. It's like a little bit of a darkness there, like a darkness, you know, dark lalas, you know, all dancing around, and you're like, no baby, don't dance, you know. So it's important to actually see who this is, because somebody, you have got a certain information that somebody else in your life is going to benefit from, like there is no tomorrow. This is very important because something is happening, maybe not necessarily behind your back, but you will notice that something is not going to be right this week when it comes to someone specific in your life, and then you are most certainly going to have a very beneficial effect on them. As soon as you start talking to them, there is a very powerful healing vibration that you have, my gorgeous Capricornius, you know. So this is important, because you seem to be very strong when it comes to this healing energy, which is nothing unusual, because you're very deep, you're very powerful, you're very spiritual. But at the same time, when you start talking to people, the people are really drawn within you, you know. And this is a great skill when it comes to solace and healing and things like that. So just remember this is very important. On another hand, you know, you are going to be very kind of like spiritually penetrated throughout this week, and you're going to learn something so important. And what you're going to learn this week, it's pretty much so going to inspire you. This is to do with your path, and it's also to do with like a very big answer that you should carry on with a certain part of your life. This is very important, you know, and because, you know, the hidden emotion is going to become absolutely evident, and that is going to require from you to be very practical and very analytical indeed. It's to do with like a pretty much so serene knowledge and common sense, but also paying attention to the part of your life that is keeping you restrained, that's keeping you restrained. You have got the power. You decide what you want to do in your life. You decide what your next step is going to be. You must not let anyone else to like kind of tell you, oh, you do this, you do that. You know, it's very important. And even if you don't know what am I saying right now, by the time you get to the actual midweek, this is something that you need to remember, because a lot of confusion is going on at the moment. So this is why you need to understand this. It's all about you practical, all about you being practical, analytical, but also doing things and paying attention to those things that are frequently keeping you too restrained, because something came to an end. Something is draining you like there is no tomorrow. Something is draining you like a big mama. And this means that that specific part of your life came to an end. Okay, so this is something you need to pay attention to and you need to move on from, because it's kind of like pretty much so it started to affect your own determination. So when that happens, then most certainly it's just like a basically, you don't just need to like kind of sit and think, oh my god, what came to an end, but also on another hand, the way to deal with this is to just see what the next step, no matter what's going on, what's happening, it doesn't matter, but just see what can you bring into your life to make it more colorful. What can you do that you haven't done in a long time, but you know that this is going to make you happy. But also at the same time, you know, it's time to explore what else additional you can bring on your path to make it more interesting for you when it comes to like your current path. Whatever you are, whatever you do, something new will be needed this week. Something new is going to be obvious, and this is something that I need you to pay attention to as well. On another hand, my gorgeous Capricornians, you know, you are gonna have a really powerful and strong moment of justice. You have been waiting for something for the last 10 months. You have been waiting for something so important for the last 10 months, and it's about the justice that you're actually going to have. This is very important indeed, and you're going to find this like almost immediately. This is going to be information that you are going to have. It's going to like make you, oh my god, thank god, you know. It's going to make you feel so much better, you know. There's going to be the heavy stone that is just going to fall down from your chest, you know, and things like that. But it's pretty much so to do with the actual a proper balance that is almost immediately going to take over. This harmonious energy is going to be remarkable, because it's all about the reward. Very important reward that you're going to have. You're going to find this so rewarding. So this justice that you've been waiting for the last 10 months intensely, you're going to find this very much so rewarding in so many different ways, because that it's going to help you to move on with your life and pay attention to those things when it comes to your desire, especially when it comes to your desire. Okay, very important indeed, you know. And you're also kind of going to become aware of somebody with a very good intentions, you know. A specific person with a very good intentions this week is going to play an important role, because they are going to give you a really remarkable advice as well, or you're going to understand the remarkable advice from them as well, and that is going to help you so much, you know, with the part of your life that you felt very kind of unfair about, you know. Very, very unfair. So this is all going to make sense, and it's most certainly going to be playing an important role when it comes to you moving on with your life, but also following your own spirit, you know, following your own journey. Ignore negativity as much as you possibly can. It's important, because otherwise you're just going to give your energy away. And if you give your energy away, if you worry too much and think negatively, then it's not good, you know, because you just kind of like get tangled within the web of God knows what that is just going to kind of make it more toxic to you. So to protect yourself, you just like really at the moment in time, you just have to do and focus on what you need to bring into your life right now, because the balance is going to be remarkable, and later on this is going to become quite rewarding as well. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Aquamarine. Oh my god, you're going to find yourself like a pretty much so very nostalgic this week. It looks like You will want to connect and reconnect with a certain person or a certain people in your life. When you find yourself nostalgic, it is very important, my gorgeous Aquamarini, to see who this is. Oh my Lord, it's more than just nostalgia here, right? This is way more than just nostalgia. You're also ridiculously powerful when it comes to your psychic feelings. I say this every time, I'm sorry, but it's so important because, you know, things are communicating to you. You can feel the spirits, you know, you can feel the energy. You can find this balance so beneficial in every single aspect of your life. Sometimes it can be very difficult because people can't understand you, but then sometimes you can't even understand yourself the way you are able to perceive things, you know, and it's amazing because it's a great trait, you know, that people actually have. But the most certainly this is very important. So you're going to find yourself being very nostalgic, and you're going to find yourself thinking about your past, and you're going to find yourself thinking about the specific person who you really love and who you really like and who really mean to you so much. And this particular person, it's somebody, it could be like your family member, it could be your best friend, you know, it really doesn't matter. But that particular person, it's going to be playing an important role when it comes to your life. So this is going to answer to you straight away. You're going to find yourself on this psychic journey this week, and this is going to be a mind-blowing moment in time. And I'm not surprised because it's happening now in the actual month of November. Everything is heightened, everything is highlighted as well. When it comes to October, November, and December, it's like, my Lord, you know, it's everything is highlighted, and it makes us think, it makes us wonder. And very often we feel like we want to like communicate to people who mean to us so much, but also most importantly, reconnection. Whoever you feel like you want to reconnect with within the in between these days, you should just go for it. This is an important sign that they're meant to be in your life indeed. But one specific person that I started doing this reading with, that is going to come to your mind and you're going to miss that person. That person is like basically connected to memories, you know, and it's very influential when it comes to your life in the best possible way. But also on another hand, that particular person is holding a really important answer. That particular person is going to reach true. That particular person is going to reach forward. I mean, I'm saying this is either a really great friend, or it's either like a family member, somebody who means to you so much in the best possible way. No bad, no dark lala, no none of this, you know. This is important. That person is meant to be in your life. That person is meant to be part of your life. And I'm saying this because that person is so significant, and it is going to be significant. It's the information they're going to tell you. Information is going to be really mind-blowing because you will be told something, and first of all it's going to surprise you, but then this is going to be super important when it comes to your own progress. They have got the information that you need when it comes to your personal progress. The information that they're going to tell you, it's on one hand going to help you to kind of move on with your life, but on another hand it's going to help you to see things that you didn't see before for what they are. To see certain people that you didn't see before for what they are. And these people that I say, oh, you didn't see them for what they are, it's all dark. No, baby, no. These people are nothing to do with your life or nothing to do with you personally. But it's all going to make sense because it's all part of the spiritual bubble. It's all part of these puzzles that you are making, that you are creating. But this piece is missing. And this piece is going to come through this particular person who mean to you so much. And you know why it's happening? Because that person is meant to be in your life. People who are meant to be in our lives, they are meant to be in our lives. People who are meant to be in our spiritual journey, they're meant to be in our spiritual journey. Not that we learn from them all the time, but they learn from us as well. So we learn from each other, you know. So this is why this is so important. Your eyes are going to be open, but also something is going to like kind of happen within you. Something is going to inspire you, and also it's going to bring you an important insight. And I like this so much because on another hand, you know, it's somebody who, as I said, somebody who you can trust completely, but also on another hand, you know, this person is going to have a very important news when it comes to you, and that in itself is just gonna give you an idea you're going to become aware of the certain opportunity by the end of the week, but also you're going to, through realizing something very specific about yourself through that person, this is why people in our lives are so important, you will also gather the necessary strength and courage, you know, in order to act on like a kind of a weird situation in your life. And you will do something that you wouldn't normally do, maybe talking to someone or express your feelings not towards someone but towards something. And then when that happens, it's going to surprise you. There is a little surprise that is going to be there, because that is going to come out of the blue without you even planning. So it's the conversation with somebody in your life, and you're going to act in such a spontaneous way, and you're going to say something, and then when you say that, that is going to come really deep from really deep within, and you're going to surprise yourself because that is going to come out, but it's meant to come out. And then the way that other person is actually going to respond to this by the end of the week, it's really you would think it's going to be like, oh my god, something really negative or really bad, but the way they're going to respond is going to be absolutely brilliant. It's going to be absolutely miraculous, because there is a very interesting opportunity that is actually going to be there for you then and there. It means like that you're going to deal with a very difficult issue with somebody in your life, some powerful figure, very strong and powerful figure, some kind of karma that you need to resolve with that person, and you need to hurry up. It's very important. So it's about like maybe if you kind of not talking to people who mean to you so much, like a family members, for example, I see the certain family member, you know, that you need to discuss something, there is a certain problem and a certain spiritual negativity. So it means that maybe you had an argument or disagreement with somebody in your life, that there's certain grudges that you need to go over. This is so important, my gorgeous aquamarini. Please do this, because it's maybe, you know, it's pretty much somebody who's so close to you, somebody who's so important to you, like a family member, and maybe an older person as well. But if they're not old physically, then they're old like spiritually, you know. But it's like an older person who you really look up to, who's so important to you, but there was some kind of misunderstanding, and it's karmically becoming very, very heavy. Now this is the time for you to actually try to kind of sort this out. It's very important for this to come to an end, because that person is not evil, it's not horrible, it's not terrible or anything like that, but it's just a bit of disagreement that you've had, and you need to make the situation nice and positive and optimistic, because otherwise you're both not going to be able to move on. This is very deep and this is very spiritual, and it's going to create a rather powerful moment in time, because it's going to help you to make a really big jump, because after that moment in time the negative energy is going to shift, and you will be able to understand something so important about your life through that person. So this is something you need to understand. And also when it comes to the actual last part of this week, it's, you see, people in your life are going to be playing a really important role, you know, whether they're friends or whether they're like a family members. People in your life this week are going to be playing an important role, because yet again I'm seeing that, you know, it's about the important news that you're gonna get through somebody very consistent in your life by the end of the week. Very important news that you're gonna get, and this is also going to be your sign that, you know, you should invest in certain part of your life. And this is to do, you see, people are going to be playing an important role in your life, my lord. And this is like a friend or person who mean to you so much. This is more like a friend at the end of the week. I know it's confusing. I'm sorry. It's probably confusing because there is so much information. But it looks like you have been waiting for this. So this is why this reading is so complex, you know. So, and this is why so many people in your lives are involved, because they're meant to be there. So the last part of this week, the very last day, the very last couple of days, it's all about this very important person, like a friend now, okay, who is actually going to tell you significant news, somebody who's very consistent in your life, but also at the same time, that news, it's going to show you the way. It's going to confirm to you something so important, something so deep, in which part of your life you should invest. and what part of your life you should be careful about investing to. There are two things ahead. One part of your life, if you invest, it's like maybe it's not too much to do with you if you do that. But another part of your life you should invest, but it's to do with you. Just you. You see? I'm not saying that you should be selfish, but I think that this is going to be really obvious indeed. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be my gorgeous Pisces. Sorry. It's like water, because my voice is going, 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 no, it's no. Do you like my shirt? See this? Do you like my shirt? Okay. I just love anything old, anything ancient, really. These are all old paintings. Renaissance. Okay. So now, my gorgeous Pisces, you know what, I really like this because you are going to have a really kind of like a psychic week. You know, it's more about you needing to understand that you are gonna have a bit of a like a challenging situation this week, where you're gonna think like, oh God, I can't do this any longer, I can't take it no more. And you know what, everything in this world, everything in this life has two sides, you know, and it's always that yin-yang moment, you know. If the life is too simple, if the life is too easy, then something is wrong, because this life is not meant to be easy. We are on this earth, my gorgeous Pisces, and we are on this earth for a very short amount of time. We live, we are 10, we are 20, we are 30, we are 40, we are 50, we are 60, we are 70, we are 80, we are 90, we are, you know, then we are 20, and then we are 80, and the life goes like that. You know, the life goes really quick. This is my point. So we are here on this earth for a reason, and it's not meant to be easy. This is a very difficult lives that we live on this earth for many different reasons, but purely because our spirit, you know, goes, our energy is undestroyable whatsoever. But on another hand, it's just all about like us doing as much as we can, but also learning throughout the actual life, and also following our intuition. Do not ever do something that doesn't make sense. Don't ever don't give your energy away. And because things have been like in your life like very kind of like a not dark, but you know, you have like maybe been thinking a lot about things on the outside, things that haven't got anything to do with you, because you're very deep, you're very spiritual, you're very emotional. It actually took your attention away from what you should be focusing on. So this is something that you need to remember. Please, my gorgeous Pisces, you have to refocus this week, and you will know when do you need to refocus, because there is a very important aspect of your life going to come up, going to manifest, and it's going to happen this week. And that important part of your life, it's going to require from you to be that important part of your life, it's just gonna come with a little bit of challenge, because it's going to reveal itself, and you're gonna feel like a certain pressure, and you're gonna feel like almost immediately like, oh no, this is gonna take too long, blah blah blah, or any kind of form of negativity. Just remember, you need to have patience. The patience is your sign. You need to have patience. Patience is really, really important, but this is also going to be a sign that you're on the right path. You see how interesting things are actually going to be, and this is going to become absolutely evident at around the mid-week whatsoever. So when you find yourself, oh God, you know, something, it's just going to kind of like the certain information, the certain news that you're going to have, the certain information is just going to put you off a little bit from from your own path where you are, and it's just going to become like, oh no, negative feelings are going to take over, like oh, it's going to take too long. No, baby, no. Sometimes in this life also things are testing us in this particular way to see how much we can give of ourselves, how much of our energy and vibration we can actually give from ourselves. And then the more we give, the more we're going to benefit back. But sometimes, you know, things come with like an uncertainty, what's going to happen in the future, what the future is going to bring. But we must not kind of like really let that to take the better of us, because you're very sensitive, you're very deep, and you're very spiritual. So there is a lot that was going on lately within the last 24 months in your life that actually affected you way more than you could have possibly imagined. So this is why it's so important to use your sensitivity and your psychic deepness and make the most of it by just making sure that you stay on your path. Very important indeed. So it's all about the moment where you will want to do something, you will want to carry on, but then again you're going to hear something, or you're going to become aware of the certain news and information, and that is just going to kind of put this certain negative blockages when it comes to not having patience, you know. And this is a quite negative feeling or negative emotion, because subconsciously you just close the door. So you need to remember to have patience and keep going, because the very important harmony, it's about to come into your life. Look, if you try to kind of like can you hear it? The fireworks. Remember the 5th of November. Oh my Lord. remember the 5th of November. Okay, so basically, yeah, my gorgeous Pisceline, it's all about like, look, you try to think how you can get this energy going, how you can get this vibration going. Just think about which part of your life needs adjustment, which part of your life needs a little bit of management. You know, it's all about the adjustment and management, but at the same time, when you start thinking about it this week, my gorgeous Pisceline, look, this is how you go about. Look, from the beginning of the week, what you need to do is just like think about what part of your life needs a little bit of management in terms of the actual adjustment, you know. And as soon as you do this, listen to this, is so important. Okay, so I'm going now to the beginning. You, from the beginning of this week, my gorgeous Pisceline, you need to focus and you need to understand that there is something really big going to happen to you this week in terms of the actual adjustment. It's going to be bigger than you actually realize. It's going to be bigger than you could be possibly aware of. Until you tap into this particular energy, you know, you cannot understand how important this is going to be. Because what you're going to start by the end of the week, it's going to turn into something really big, and by the time, as I said, by the time you come to the actual March 2022 and June 2022, in between March and June 2022, these months are going to be playing a giant role in the actual outcome of everything that was happening right now, because you're going to be able to see the direct results of this particular stage and this particular period. So be as open-minded as you can, but also you need to understand that as soon as you start thinking about your life, as soon as you start like focusing in terms of the adjustment, in terms of things like that are making you feel unhappy, things about things that you want to adjust, and also think about things that are making you feel restrained as well at the same time, because that's quite important in itself, because it's going to show you the way, but it's also gonna make it obvious for you to actually see that specific part of your life that slowly came to an end. So this is very important. So as soon as you do that, there is someone who is going to be playing an important role when it comes to the actual influence, you know. Somebody is going to influence you so much, and that particular person is going to be playing an important role, because also on another hand, it's going to help you, you know, to deal with a very kind of like a weird problem, the problem that you don't know what to do. That particular person is also going to have an important answer, not that they're going to tell you straight, not that they're going to tell you directly, but through them then you will know something, you will realize something, you know. It's more like the actual confirmation through somebody who mean to you so much. So this is something really important. But on another hand, you are going to have a very important omen. My gorgeous Piscelini, you are going to have an important omen. This is going to be really, really brilliant. And the omen, the sign that you are going to have, it's going to happen to you straight after you see numbers 333, 444, 555 and 777. Any combination of these numbers that you are going to see, that you will see through the actual power of synchronicity, you need to understand that not that long after that, there is going to be an omen that you are going to have. An omen, it's going to come sorry, in the form of either bird, either cat, either dog, or it could even be an insect, you know. It really depends, but something is going to take place, something is going to happen, and you will know that that gorgeous little creature is meant to be sharing your own dimension, it's meant to be sharing your own energy. You will know that at the same time this omen is basically going to let you know that you are in for something really big, and it's going to start with an unfoldment of a very favorable expectation, very hopeful outlook. You need to pay attention to what was on your mind. You need to pay attention to which ideas that you have. You need to pay attention to what your next step is going to be. You need to pay attention to what is slowing you down, because when you see this omen, when you see this sign, I mean, on another hand, even if you don't see this bird and dog and a cat, like as in the actual sign when it comes to the omen, you also need to pay attention to the numbers that I've mentioned. You know, you can also, like, at the same time when you see these numbers, this is also a very strong and powerful point of your own synchronicity, and pay attention to what was on your mind. The same when you see the numbers, pay attention to what was on your mind as well, but also be aware that you will see the actual omen. Even if you don't see omen, you will also be able to use this power of synchronicity when it comes to you becoming aware of these numbers, and pay attention to what was on your mind. And then if you do see this omen, then you will know this is all like a confirmation for you. But these signs are going to come either ways, because it's all about your own spiritual journey, and also the way you perceive things, where you are at the moment, and the way things are happening in your life. But as soon as you see this sign, you need to understand it's all about a hopeful outlook and favorable expectation when it comes to things that you are thinking about, but you're blocking yourself. You're blocking yourself because you're not giving enough credit to yourself. And this is what your sign is going to be. This is going to bring you, like, a pretty much so new alliances into your life, new people into your life, but it's also going to be connected to a very, very important reunion. Very important reunion with somebody who's meant to be in your life. And these are only going to be the beginning of stages of this. So it's somebody who's like slowly drifted off. It's about to make a return. Okay, important indeed. And on another hand, my gorgeous Parcellini, what was happening in your life, especially when it comes to the actual last 7 months, you know, you kind of pretty much so we're waiting for the certain moment, you know, for the last 7 months, when it comes to like your development, when it comes to you starting something, when it comes to you beginning with a very specific part of your life. You said it, you mentioned it, you were thinking about it, but things are not moving on. And you just need to remember to not to give a credit to the like a very evil forces outside of your spiritual bubble that are maybe affecting your way of thinking. It's the time to stand your ground, and also to take a leadership role. This is very important indeed, because the specific part of your life it's going to require from you to take it on the next stage, and it was on your mind for the last 7 months, pretty much so. So there is a very, very good news that you're actually going to have, and that good news is going to be connected to your own personal gain. It's going to be connected to the actual advancement. It's something that you expected, something that you were waiting for. But then again, through that, you will realize certain desires as well, you know, the next stage, you know. And this is pretty much so to do with the actual ideas that you're also going to become aware of, but it is going to be the step out of the situation in your life that no longer serve you. But you just need to remember to give a credit to yourself, my gorgeous Piscelinis. This is very, very important indeed. Okay, my gorgeous people, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I love every single one of you. Of course, I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light. So I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you, my gorgeous people. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. Love you all. Bye.